would you be able to tell what she does for a living? Is she a gossip columnist, a designer of women's hats, a babysitter? What would you say if she turned to you and asked,
What's my line?
from CBS Studio 51, Jules Montagnier Incorporated, makers of Stop-It Spray Deodorant, the deodorant in the amazing squeezable bottle, the deodorant that changed a nation's habits, brings you television's sensational new game, What's My Line? And now let's meet our lineup of well-known personalities whose lines you probably already know. First, the brightest of the Broadway scribes, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, my favorite poet, anthologist, and scholar, Mr. Louis Untermeyer.
And here is that dynamic star of stage and screen, Arlene Francis.
And on my left, one of the best writers of comedy for radio and television, Hal Block.
Thank you. And on my left is one of the great news commentators, analyst, a lexicographer, choreographer, biographer, and a stenographer, Mr. John Daly.
Be all those things. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first in the new series of What's My Line, presented by Stop-It. Tonight you will see people from many varied and perhaps unexpected occupations, all of them here to baffle our panel of experts to the happy end that they can carry home some prize money. We'll also have a famous guest challenger before our panel a little bit later in the show, but now to start things rolling, it's time for the experts to meet our first challenger whose job they will have to spot. So will you sign in, please, sir? Arthur Eldridge. Well, nice to see you, Mr. Eldridge. First of all, where you live, if you will.
I live in Elgin, Illinois, sir.
Elgin, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Well, you've come a long way, and knowing what I know about you, I don't think you'd be frightened of this collection of panelists we have over here. But at this point, we always let the panel have a closer look at you. So if you would walk over there and any reasonable demands they make while you meet them, will you, please?
Mr. Elgin, would you face the audience for me a minute? And would you flex the muscle of your right arm? Let me see. Are you flexing it? Yes. Not very flexible. Thank you very much.
Yes, I would like to see, would you open your coat slightly and, yes, may I see the...
Yes, sir.
Stein, I don't want to be commercial, but that's a Weber and I shouldn't mention. Anyway, that's a good indication of character.
Well, Mr. Eldridge,
thank you very much. Yes.
Mr. Eldridge, I think they've had a close enough look. You come on over here and sit down beside me, will you, for a minute? Now, I tell you what we do at this point. On the basis of your handwriting, what you've said, how you said it, and this close look they've had at you, why, we let the panel have one free, wild, and happy guess as to what your line may be. And we'll begin the wild guesses, as usual, with Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I think that he's Santa Claus in the Macy Parade. He looks rather jolly.
In the Macy Parade. Mr. Untermeyer.
Mr. Eldridge of Elgin is a retired Waltham watchmaker.
A retired Waltham watchmaker. Miss Francis?
I think it's possible that he's a wig maker.
A wig maker. No, I've got mine on. I'm all right tonight. Mr. Block?
He looks like a co-pilot on a flying saucer.
A co-pilot? No, I'm afraid not. We're going to come in a bit closer here beside me. If you will, Mr. Eldridge. Your answers are all wrong. Now we're going to let the folks at home, the viewers, have a really close look at Mr. Eldridge. At the same time, we will let them know what his line is. But, panel, I'm afraid that you'll have to dig for your facts. You know what the rules are. You will be allowed in turn to ask questions which will be answered yes or no. Each no answer costs the panel $5. We keep the record of it right up here. And 10 no's and you've lost the game. Now we'll give you one more bit of help. Mr. Eldridge is salaried, and we'll begin the general questions with Miss Francis.
Mr. Eldridge, your salary, do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
Do you deal in commodities?
No, ma'am.
Did you say yes?
No, he said no.
Haven't
That's
got
one
my
down and
Salto
9 to
hearing
go,
aid
and
on.
Mr. Eldridge is
Missed it.
$5 richer already, and Mr. Block, you're on the block.
Do you deal in services?
Yes, sir.
You deal in services.
I sell
And
service.
do your services help the people who you're connected with?
Yes, I believe they do.
I would say they did, Mr. Block.
What type of a laugh is that?
Well, you've got to figure it out.
You deal with a special group of people, a special clientele.
In the general sense of the special clientele, yes.
Well, are they happier as a result of your work?
Would not answer that. I guess they're happier, yes.
We'll say yes, Mr. Block, but don't be misled. I
You
think
they could
Fred-
easily be not happy?
Well, it's very hard. His employers are undoubtedly very, very happy, and he makes other people happy by the
A
functioning
real
that
happy
he...
fellow.
Yes.
Well, look,
Would you like
you
to
give advice to your clients?
In a forceful way, I would say yes.
Well, am I the type of person that would come to you? That is a real dirty laugh.
And the answer is also no, and that is 2 down, and there you go, Miss Kilgallen, you're on the block.
Mr. Eldridge, are your clients or the people with whom you come in contact in your work and upon whom you purvey your services, are they people, that is, rather than animals or anything like that?
No, they're not people rather than
not
animals, so
people.
the answer would have to be no, and that's 3 down and 7 to go, but some very valuable information gleaned. Mr. Undermeyer, it's up to you.
Thank you. A consultation, please.
You
Yes,
may
sir.
have 30 seconds for a
I
consultation.
gather, I think clients now will serve the purpose, and definitely not people. Let's pursue that line.
Yes.
They're
If
not
I
animals.
may.
No, they
Yeah.
I've got a hunch, yes.
He's not an animal, that's obvious.
Is the
What do you mean
conference-
he's not an animal?
Is the
male
conference
animal.
over, or do you want to go on with it? You want to question
I'd
now,
like to
Mr.
question.
Undermeyer? The block's all yours.
Your clients, you guide them?
Yes.
In a sense, do you also tend to their wants, things, clothe them, for instance?
Well, yes.
You do. All right. Do they get angry, or is their bark worse than their bite? Their bark is... Well, may I withdraw that? May I say, do you deal directly, physically with them?
Yes.
Are they animals? Are you an animal trainer?
Yes, he is.
Very good. Congratulations, old boy.
I was helped.
I must say that even I want to congratulate you. You did a very good job.
May I say something?
Yes, please do, Mr.
I
Block.
think as an animal trainer, are you with Ringling Brothers? Sir?
I was just going to say that. Mr. Eldridge, who has won $15 and been a very
Well, he
good
should
guest
be on
for us.
What's My Lion?
Oh, my, that's fair. But he has been good enough to come down from Madison Square Garden and the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, where he trains chimpanzees.
You're next, Mr. Block.
So thank you very much for being our guest, Mr. Eldridge, on What's My Line. Good night. Well, panel, you did very well on that, I must say. And now it's time for you to face a second challenger. So will you sign in, please, miss? June Harbour and spring only around the corner. Isn't that nice? Well, Miss Harbour is okay. Where do you live, Miss Harbour?
On Long Island.
Long Island, that's practically New York. Practically New York. Well, now, there is the panel that you're going to have to face. As you see, nothing to be afraid of. Nothing at all. Well, now, what we do here is let them have a closer look at you. So would you walk by the panel? Any reasonable demands they make, why, you meet them.
Miss Harper?
I knew you'd call her back.
Your name is June Harper? Do you live near Veronica Lake?
Sorry, no. May
But
I
anyway-
ask a question? Oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Hal.
I just thought you might be an actress. Would you do some emotions for us in pantomime?
Emotion?
Yes. For instance,
What sort?
would you basically show fear? Very good.
Pretty frightened. You should have been looking at him. You'd have been able to do it even better.
All right, that's very good. If you would like to try.
No, Mr. Gilman.
All I want to do, may I whistle?
Go ahead.
I can't pucker.
May I ask you what
Pretending
perfume
to
you're
walk.
wearing, Miss Harper? Are you wearing... No, I can't, but it's lovely. What is it?
Well,
Chanel
Miss Harbour,
number
I think
5.
they've had
I
enough
should
of
have
you
been
over there. Come over here and sit down next to me. They've had a very close look at you, and now on the basis of your handwriting, what you've said, how you said it, your emoting, acting, what your perfume smelled like, We let them have one free, wild, and happy guess as to what your line may be, and we'll begin the free guesses as usual with Miss Kilgallen.
Well, of course, she's very relaxed and she's very pretty, so she should be a Powers model or an actress, but I suppose that means that she's a researcher in atomic energy.
Mr. Odemeyer,
I'll go along with the atomic energy.
you go along with the atomic energy. Miss Francis?
I think she works in some sort of an information booth capacity.
Mr. Block?
I would like to be in that information booth with him.
Well, I think that's an interesting comment, one I agree with entirely, but we had no right answers, so now we will let our viewers at home have a really close look at Miss Haber. Meanwhile, they will find out what her line is. Panel, you will have to dig for facts as usual. You know the rules. You can ask questions in turn. They will be answered yes or no. Each no answer costs the panel $5. We keep the record up here. I'll give you one more bit of help. Miss Haber is salaried, and we'll begin the general questioning with Miss Francis.
Your salary, do you work, do you deal in services, Miss Harbour?
Yes, I do.
Do you work for a large organization?
No.
One down and 9 to go. I think that's a fair statement. As we understand large organizations,
That's
you do
right.
not work
No.
for a large organization. Mr. Block.
In your work, do you help people?
Oh, yes.
You do.
Try to.
Do you go out to them to help them?
You want to make that as a flat question? You mean
Now
every
that
time?
you say it that way, no.
Well, would you like to rephrase the question?
I am in a rephrasing mood.
Good.
Do you sometimes go out?
I think we can, yes, we can let a yes question. Yes,
Do you
answer.
wear a special outfit in what you do?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go. Miss Kilgallen.
Would you say that you were not in the arts? In other words, you were not on the stage or a writer?
Yes, I would say
Yes,
you'd
I
say
would
yes
say.
to that. And in that concept that she's not an artist or a writer or and
Are
in
you
the
in any
entertainment
of
world.
the professions? Doctor, lawyer, architect,
Merchant chief.
merchant? Well, no, not merchant. That would be business. Are you in a profession?
Yes,
And you're in a profession that helps people?
yes,
Do you consider your patients, or would I say clients, do you use the word clients in connection with your
yes,
people who come to you?
yes.
And they do, yes.
You're looking at a new
All right, you can have 20 seconds for a conference.
I noticed it's a little unfair, but the audience sort of went, oh, when you got to
But
Lloyd.
they didn't expect, you see.
Yes, but I think we ought to stick a little close to that for a minute.
Do you deal with books and papers?
Yes,
Are you a lawyer?
yes.
You're doing very, very well tonight. Miss Haber only won $10, but I do hope she had a lot of fun. And thanks
I did.
very
Got
much
herself
for
a
being
lot of
our
new
guest
cases.
on What's My Line tonight.
I was rather hoping.
Well, now, panel, you've done very, very well with the first 2 challenges tonight. I think probably it's time for a change of pace. But before we meet our mystery guest for this evening, here's a problem for you viewers. Come to the regular special feature of our show, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. And because our panel of experts would recognize our guest on sight, we've provided them with blindfolds for this special test in personality identity. So get on the blindfolds there, panel. Get them on. In this particular case, it's not so much what's my line as who is it? A challenge once again to the ingenuity and perceptive talents of our panel. Okay, are all the blindfolds adjusted?
Yes, sir.
All set, Miss Kilgallen? Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, the blindfolds are nice and tight. Will you sign in right there, please, mystery challenger?
What a lovely handwriting.
X, Y, Q. I'm being very helpful, aren't I, Panel?
Oh, this is great.
Z, D, V, K,
Must be a long name.
17265. Sounds like an atomic formula from here.
The Social Security number.
Say, John, may I say something?
Well, that's fine. We've got it all on there now. And you can open it now, members of the panel, as you know, we dispense with most of the formalities when we get our famous guest challenger before you. So we'll go right to the general questioning and see what you can do about finding out who is it rather than what's my line. And we'll begin the general questions with Mr. Block, who seems to be eager to get started.
Well, I just wanted to give a little help to my co-panelists. 'Cause I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, I bet it isn't O'Dwyer because he's probably back in Florida.
Well, now you suppose you begin the general questioning, Mr. Block.
Well, are you a big celebrity?
No.
Are you living or dead? No, actually, are you or have you been in theater work or in pictures?
No, not quite.
You haven't been in pictures?
Not entirely.
Well, is that yes or no then?
Well, that, I think, will have to be a no, but it's an important clue.
Has she ever been in pictures?
No, well, we'll have to accept our challenger's answer. That's 1 down and 9 to go. And Miss Kilgallen, suppose
I
you
don't
go.
understand that answer, John. I can't base any of my questions on it. Has she been in the movies or hasn't she? Or
Well, I
is
think
she-
what it tends to suggest is there is a close relationship to movies, but not actual appearance in them. Is that right, Guestry Challenger? You have been in them. So we will now take back, if Mr. Block wants to go on the block. Our guest challenger says she has been in them. So you go on, Mr. Block.
Are you a glamour girl?
I thought so.
I think we'll have to let the answer yes stand there. So go on, Mr. Block.
Are you the type of girl that I'd like to be caught with in a rumble seat sometime?
I hope so.
Well, let's go. Were you in... Are you presently in the acting profession?
No.
1 down,
Sounds like
9
Betty
to go. Now we'll move on to Miss Kilgallen. Go ahead, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you presently working at anything?
Yes.
Well, this may seem like a very strange... Has it been established that this person is female? Did you say yes, John? I can't seem to hear when I can't see.
You mean there's a doubt?
No, that's no doubt. It's
I
yes.
think so.
Well, are you at present employed as an entertainer?
I think we can accept the yes. And now I think that you've had a tough enough time, so we'll ask our famous guest celebrity not to disguise her voice anymore and go on from there.
Sounds a little like Donald
We'll
Trump.
take a yes answer for that, Miss Kilgallen. You go ahead with the question.
She is presently engaged in entertainment. Are you at present appearing anywhere in New York City?
You mean professionally?
Yes, professionally.
How would you answer that?
Sometimes.
That's the undisguised voice?
No, that isn't it. We'd like to undisguise your voice. I think we will have to take a no answer on that, since I think by the question you meant professionally now appearing in a theater or a nightclub or something like that. So we'll say a no answer to that, and Mr. Undermeyer, you're next.
God bless you, Louis.
I am going to do something very skillful. I'm passing the ball to Miss Francis.
All right, Miss Francis, you're next.
The voice sounds as though it belongs to a very small person. Are you an entertainer on perhaps television?
I think that can be answered yes on occasion. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
whoever it is,
I want my time again.
Go ahead, Miss Francis.
this may
whoever
be
it is
twins.
has just aged about 20 years. Are you, of course, you must be a comedian. Comedienne.
I occasionally thought I was.
Oh,
That voice, I know that.
oh.
Hey, let me take...
Conference, please.
All right, I'll
conference.
All right, you
Hey,
can
I
have
think
15 seconds for a
Conference.
15
Ask
seconds.
if she coaches actors and actresses.
Like Constance Collier? you
Yes,
mean?
like Constance Collier.
All right, the
Do you feel
conference is over.
anything, Hal?
Oh, yeah.
I'll pass to you then while you work on
All
it.
right, Mr. Block.
Do you deal in services?
What?
Do you...
Yes, I would say so.
Do the things you do make people happier?
Oh, I hope so.
Are you behind the scenes in a... Talk again. What did you just say?
Say the same sentence.
I hope so.
Gee, I know that voice.
Come on, panel. You spent a lot of time. I'll have to let it go by default pretty
Okay.
soon.
Well, get something, Hal.
All right, I'll pass it.
Miss
Maybe she
Kilgallen.
writes. You know, we have. Are you a character woman?
Oh, decidedly.
All
Are
right,
you
we'll take a
Constance
yes.
Collier?
Decidedly.
Listen, let's get...
Hey,
She's
wait a-
decidedly Constance Collier, did she say?
No.
No, but let's go into huddle. We haven't... She may write something, anything.
I don't
You do,
recognize
Dorothy,
it.
and it's
Well, I'm not a
possible-
character
Ask
woman.
her if she writes.
I don't recognize her voice.
All right, I would
don't
assume
Mr.
that...
Daly, may I have the floor?
Miss Francis, you have the floor.
May I ask you if you are associated in the writing profession in any way?
No, not now.
Not now. You never have been, huh? I get a no
Oh,
on it.
yes.
Well, you get a no there,
wait
but,
a
but
minute.
that is as of
I
the
think
present.
it's, you know who I think it is?
Mary
You used to
Bowler?
have them in the Post.
Oh, Elsa Maxwell.
It was so obvious.
I'm ashamed. I'm
So
ashamed.
obvious. We're all ashamed.
You know, if we knew you were coming,
Thanks
we'd
very
have
much
begged the
for
case.
being our guest on What's My Line tonight. Now, Walter Seidel. Well, Mr. Seidel, first of all, will you tell us where you live?
Yes, I will. I live in Canarsie, which is part of Brooklyn.
Canarsie, which is part of Brooklyn. Fine. Well, you people from Brooklyn are noted for your courage, so we now give the panel a chance to get a closer look at you. They'll have to move fast. We have only 4 minutes to go. Will you walk down by them? Any reasonable requests they make, you'll meet them.
Would you turn to the audience and say rubber buggy bumpers 3 times real fast?
Ruggy Bubby Bumpers, Ruggy Bubby Bumpers, Ruggy Bubby Bumpers.
Well, he's not an actor.
Will you pantomime jumping rope for me?
All right, I think Mr. Seidel, if you come over here and sit down next to me, please, we'll get along with the task at hand. Now, on the basis of your handwriting, what you've said, how you said it, how you skipped rope, and the close look that they've had at you, we give the panel a chance to take one free wild guess. Miss Kilgallen, you are first as usual.
He's a Dodgers rooter.
A Dodgers rooter. That probably is true. Mr. Undermeyer?
He is not a chorus boy in Kiss Me Kate.
He's not a chorus boy. Miss Francis?
He's a sportsman of some kind. I've got to make up my mind about it, though.
Mr. Block?
He's a pimento stuffer in a martini pack.
A pimento stuffer in my beer. No, I'm afraid you're right, and now we're going to let the people, or rather you're wrong, we're going to let our viewers at home get a closer look at Mr. Seidel, and at the same time they will find out what his line is. The panel will have to do as usual. You ask questions in turn, get the answer yes or no. Each no answer costs you $5. We keep the record up here. You have only about 2.5 minutes to find out what Mr. Seidel does. We'll tell you that he's salaried and begin the general questioning with Mr. Undermeyer.
He's not another animal trainer, is
He's
he?
not another animal.
That was a waste question.
That was a waste question. You are now on the block, Mr. Undermeyer.
Mr. Seidel is connected, let us say, with one of the sports? Yes and yes?
No.
No. 1 down and 9 to go. Miss Francis.
Do you work outdoors, Mr. Seidel?
Yes and yes.
Oh, that he is implying that he can also work indoors. He can work both in or out of doors.
That's right.
Do you deal in services, Mr. Seidel?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with the training field
No.
or teaching? No.
That's
Nope.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Block. We have about 1 minute and 40 seconds for you.
Do you help people?
Yes.
Do you go to their homes?
Yes.
Are you a white-collar worker?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you wear any particular type of dress which is unlike what you're wearing now when you do
I
this?
wear a uniform.
Is it white?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Undermeyer.
Bluish?
Yes.
Is it sort of blue?
It is.
Is it blue, definitely blue?
Yes.
Yes, and liable to get bluer as time goes on. Go on, Mr. Undermeyer.
Is it overall?
Yes. I would say coverall.
Coverall.
Coveralls, and you've got about 45 seconds, Mr. Undermeyer.
Pass it to me.
I pass it to you.
Miss Francis?
Do you work on cleaning in your job? It's a cleaning service of
Yes,
some
it
kind.
is.
Do you work, you said you work both inside and outside. That means you can work with the house, huh? No conference. Do you have anything to do with cleaning out furnaces, something like that?
Yes.
Is it that?
A chimney sweep or something?
That's my line tonight. And panel, I must say that you did a grand job on that. That was a tough one, and you moved into it very rapidly and turned out a very creditable record. In fact, you've done well all the way around tonight. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a preview look at a picture of one of the challengers whose line our panel will be asked to spot in our next program. But first, see if you can spot this person's line. And 2 weeks from tonight at this same time, our panel of experts will be asked, "What's my line?" by this man. Would you know what he does for a living? Could you spot his line? Well, for the answer to this and other personality puzzles, be sure and tune in again 2 weeks from tonight at the same time, when once again, Stopette invites you to play What's My Line? Until then, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Louis.
Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Hal.
Good night, John.
And good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line has been produced by CBS in association with Mark Goodson, Bill Podman Productions. Produced for television by Gil Fates and directed by Franklin Heller. Remember to tune in 2 weeks from tonight for What's My Line, and next Wednesday night for Tony Twin Time.